We like to think that we're good at Call of Duty, but sometimes we can't help but use one of the easy guns in the game. What is up, everybody? Jimmy or Chaos. Today, we're going to be going over the 20 guns from COD history that took absolutely zero skill to use. We did the opposite on this topic not too long ago, and if you want to see some skill-based guns from the series, go check that out. But this time, it's all about the guns that anybody could pick up and dominate with, so drop a like on the video if you ever used one of these guns. Don't lie. Let's get started with what I think is a pretty obvious one. Like goal for this video is 923 likes, 24 hours. At number 20, the Louiswis in COD World War II. The starting LMG in the game. It was a little too easy to abuse. The magazine was 47 rounds, that's kind of weird. Could be doubled with extended mags, that's crazy. And the fire rate was solid for a game like this. Recoil, hardly there. Damage per shot, pretty generous. And it was the easier gun in the game to just hunker down with in the corner. Lots of people would equip this thing and then go find a nice warm head glitch to sit for the entire match. They would drop easy V2 rockets and they would listen to the rage in the game chat. It's a good way to start today's list. At number 19, the easy MV4, Infinite Warfare. Now, Infinity Ward had a bit of a bad habit of giving us overpowered M4 rifles, and that trend arguably started right here. This thing was unlocked right when you turned the game on. The fire rate was moderate, but the damage was nice. Recoil, there was none. So in a game full of crazy jetpacks and wall running, it was really tempting to just equip the MV4, close your eyes, keep your boots on the ground, hold the trigger down until your enemies disappeared. Now, for the longest time, the MV4 was the only gun you would see in the kill feed. And it's been a long time since I played Infinite Warfare, but I'm pretty sure if you went and booted up the game right now, it wouldn't be long until you ran into some MV4 spammers who they never quit. They just continue to play. At number 18, the Kilo 141 in Warzone 2020, the OG Warzone, fan favorite assault rifle, but if we're being honest with each other, which I like to think we do on this channel, one of the major reasons why it was so popular was simply because it took no skill. The whole appeal of the Kilo was the accuracy in the magazine options. You could basically turn it into a more mobile LMG. You could get a 60 or 100 round mag. You could spam enemy players down from a safe distance. All you had to do was point at the target, hold down the trigger without having to worry about compensating for the recoil. Now in Modern Warfare multiplayer, it was kind of mid. But in the original Warzone, it was top tier because it was easy to use while you were safely tucked away on a rooftop. At number 17, the Akimbo SOGS in Black Ops 4. Now, Black Ops 4 is one of the more skill-based Call of Duty games, I will say, but that doesn't mean that there's not skillless options. The SOG SMG was seen as one of the more sweaty options in the multiplayer, but there was also the operator mod that would let you run two of them at the same time, which turned them into one of the cheesiest and most skillless options available. The Akimbo SOGS could erase enemy players in the blink of an eye. You wouldn't ever have to worry about properly aiming or being smart about your positioning. You ran up on someone, held down both triggers, poof, they were gone. There was no skill involved with it. At number 16, the Jak 12 in COD Mobile. Yes, sir, some COD Mobile love today. This is the new Universe's version of the iconic AA-12, but it had some key additions in the gunsmith. You could do crazy magazines, recoil reducers, range extending barrels, so you've got yourself a full auto shotgun, and it's easy to control, pumps out crazy damage, and it's in a mobile game where people generally aren't very good at reacting quickly to your boomstick. So yeah, the Jak 12 might be a little too easy to dominate with this in the game, and I guess you could say it struggles on the larger maps, and that may be true, but on the smaller ones, it's a little ridiculous just how easy it is to clean up entire lobbies in the blink of an eye. At number 15, the Titan, Black Ops 4. I said a minute ago that Black Ops 4 is one of the more skill-based COD multiplayers. I do stand by that, but for a while, the Titan kind of contradicted that idea because it was the best gun in the game and it took zero skill to use. LMG that had moderate fire rate but no recoil, extremely high damage, enough to drop enemy players with a handful of bullets, also while allowing you to shred through enemy kill streaks more effectively than, yes, a rocket launcher. And since this was BO4, your movement speeds were actually pretty fast. You weren't really penalized for running the LMG over an AR. Treyarch took their time nerfing it too. For the longest time, the Titan was not only the easiest gun in the game to use, it was pretty obviously overall the best. So following the nerfs, no longer the best gun in the game, but it was still arguably the easiest, so here it is. At number 14, the Akimbo Marshals in Black Ops 3. Now, the Marshal 16 was one of the very first DLC guns to be added to Black Ops 3, and I really don't think Treyarch expected it to turn into one of the most infamous guns in the entire franchise. Shotgun pistol, insane killing power, that's cool on its own, but once you started running around with 2 of them, all the bets were off. You could instantly kill from insane distances, and since they were secondaries, you could throw them in your back pocket no matter what situation you were in, and I mean, it didn't matter what primary you were running. And it took 0 skill. Literally, somebody that's never played Call of Duty in their life could boot up, put 2 of these on, and go dominate. And just in case you thought those were skillless, hold on. At number 13, the Akimbo Marshals in Black Ops Cold War. Treyarch brought them back. Yeah. Now they weren't locked behind supply drops this time around. They were given the option to use incendiary shells. Yeah, markedly made them even more skillless. Let's put fire bullets on them. This time around, if you weren't able to kill somebody instantly with that initial blast, it's okay. You could burn them to death by just running away while the Dragon's Breath did the extra work for you. And since there weren't any jetpacks or wall running in Black Ops Cold War, it was easier to hit those shots. Now I'm hoping the Marshals never come back in a future COD game, but I have this sinking gut feeling that they're going to show up in Black Ops 7. I hope I'm wrong. At number 12, the Origin 12 in Modern Warfare 2019. To me, this is one of the most annoying shotguns ever put into a Call of Duty game. Semi-auto spam machine. Generous fire rate cap we can agree on, and a one-shot kill range that was way better than a weapon like it should have been. Plus, you had all the cheesy attachments in the gunsmith that could make it even better. You had crazy drum mags. You had extended barrels to make it easier to get kills that you did not deserve. So I would love to hear someone in the comments try to argue that this gun took skill. There's no way you can say it did. At number 11, the Reclaimer 18 in Modern Warfare 3 2023. The new version of the SPAS 12. And it was insanely strong, but also extremely easy to use for a number of reasons. Not only is the one-shot kill range absolutely ridiculous by default, but there were some attachments you could throw on it, like the semi-auto option, the incendiary shells, the Akimbo option, just made it even more insane. Modern Warfare 3 is arguably the best COD game on the market right now. There's a lot of people playing it. I mean, but if you run the Reclaimer 18 and you're a spammer, I mean, within a few minutes, you're going to be in a lobby with everybody that has it. It was way too easy. There's really no reason not to spam it on the smaller maps. At number 10, the Striker in Modern Warfare 3, the original. Now, it may have been cheap, but I loved using it. Striker made its COD debut in the original Modern Warfare 2. Then it got a massive buff in Modern Warfare 3 to the point that it had to be hit with one of the biggest nerfs in COD history a few weeks after the game came out, even though the damage was nerfed hard. The handling, they didn't touch it. To this day, the Striker is one of the easiest guns in COD history to use. You ran around, you spammed the right trigger, and eventually you clicked the read button, at which point Sleight of Hand Pro Perk would shove a whole bunch of new shells into a drum in just a couple seconds, and you'd repeat the process over and over again. You always hated getting killed by it. Man, it was fun to use. Don't lie. You know you did. I did. At number 9, the XM4 in Black Ops 6. I think most COD fans will agree with me. It's super lame when the best gun in the game is also a starting weapon, and it's also the easiest gun in the game to use. The Black Ops 6 version of the XM4 was the only gun in the game worth using at least for a month, and now that it's been nerfed, it's just an easy spray and pray machine that you can throw a 100-round drum mag on for whatever reason. The recoil is low, time to kill respectable, fire rate fast enough to keep it super versatile up close and at longer ranges, and there's so many freaking attachments you can throw on it to make it even easier to spray and pray with. What is it with modern COD games and overpowered M4 rifles? When will the trend stop? I remember when the M4 in COD was a standard middle-of-the-road starting weapon. The last few versions, they've been totally busted. The Black Ops 6 version, I mean, it's been the easier one to date. At number 8, holy cow, 2-in-1 video. The CBR4 in COD Mobile. I really don't think the trend in modern COD games of renaming real-world weapons to something random should be there, but whatever. This gun, the CBR4, it's actually the P90. And it's insane in this game. Magazine's huge, damage is generous, time to kill is insane, recoil is easy to control, which is nice in a game where you're playing on a phone screen because it means you have some versatility that other weapons don't have. So, I hate the name, I like the gun. Definitely one of the easiest guns in the game to use. At number 7, the ACR 6.8. Modern Warfare 3 original. May get me some heat, but here I go. The ACR was by far the easiest gun in Modern Warfare 3 to use. It was also the best gun in the game, so we saw a lot of it. Assault rifle, solid fire rate, 0 recoil, insane damage profile, could score you a 2-shot kill if you aimed high, which was not hard to do since, like I said, there was no recoil. The ACR may be a nostalgic weapon for a lot of us old school players, but let's be honest with each other. It took no skill to use compared to the rest of the guns in the game. We may have loved spamming it, but that doesn't mean we were actually trying when we were using it. At number 6, the M21 in COD 4. Sniper rifle that had a pretty nice one-shot kill range, very low idle sway, and no recoil. but it was also semi-automatic, no fire rate cap. You could literally spam it as fast as you wanted. And did I mention, this isn't a game that had a stopping power perk. Made it a one-shot kill, even bigger with zero consequences. COD 4 was an experimental game, I know. So I totally forgive Infinity Ward for not seeing any problem with the gun, but it was absolutely not a skill-based weapon. Quite the opposite. Frankly, it was by far the easiest sniper in the game to use. I would argue it was one of the most skillless snipers ever put in a COD game, but there is one other sniper I think was even easier to use, so let's talk about it. How we arrive at the top 5. The RSASS in Modern Warfare 3, the original. This gun was basically the M21 again, but with the addition of a specialist strike package and a slew of attachments. This thing was a spammer's best friend. You could spray and pray from across the map, rack up insta-kills without ever having to get in harm's way, especially if you're using a suppressor in Assassin's Pro. Modern Warfare 3 had some good snipers. Awesome snipers. MSR, L11AA, AS50, Barrett 50 cal, but if you were choosing to use this, let's be real, you probably weren't a good sniper. You were just trying to get some cheap kills and look good. At number 4, the Elsat in Black Ops 2. Had to be top 5. Elsat's one of the most infamous weapons in COD history because of how hard it dominated the multiplayer Black Ops 2 without ever demanding an ounce of skill. This LMG had no recoil, ridiculously fast time to kill, some insane cover penetration with the FMJ attachment, and of course, the target finder optic made it so easy to spray down your opponents without ever having to think about what you were doing. Treyarch knew how busted the gun was because they put it on a default class with a target finder and the FMJ ammo. They knew exactly what they were doing. The question is, will we get this again in Black Ops 7? And number 3, the M16A4 in Modern Warfare Remastered, one of the most busted weapons in COD history, if not the most busted. The COD 4 M16 still gets talked about by all new players alike for completely dominating the meta, but the MWR version, extra little shout today because of the simple fact it was easier to use than the original. In the original, the M16 was broken, but there were some drawbacks, mainly due to the connection of the game itself and the simple fact that it was a little unreliable due to how fast the burst came out of the barrel and how common it was for servers not to be able to keep up with the bullets. Modern Warfare Remastered, connection, improved. M16 was way more responsive than it was back in 2007, which meant it was now easier than ever to get your 2-shot kills from stupid distances. It may have been an iconic weapon with a special place in COD history, but it took zero skill, and we all know it. At number 2, the Akimbo FMG9s in Modern Warfare 3. I mean, it's one of my favorite guns in COD history to talk about, and even though we knew they were busted, we used them time after time. Machine pistols were actually kind of tough to use in single form, but once you slapped on the Akimbo option, it was game over. The time to kill, basically instant. I mean, it was, and the accuracy really wasn't that bad for a gun firing that fast. They were addicting to use, and when the infected playlist handed you the Akimbo FMG9s, you knew it was going to be that day. Totally skillless, totally cheesy, but a ton of fun. And at number 1 today, no shocker, the 205 Brettie, Black Ops 3, possibly the single most hated gun in COD history. I don't know, you can let me know. It was the spam shotgun that everybody remembers from BO3, and I'm amazed Treyarch never nerfed it. Never, despite all the backlash. 2 to 3 shot kill, insanely consistent, range absurd, and on top of that, it had this huge magazine, a quick reload animation, so there was no downside here. Just run around spamming the right trigger in people's general direction, clean them up, one after another. Zero skill, zero thought, zero respect. It was absolutely deserving of the number 1 spot in my eyes. Let me know 2 no-skill weapons that did not make today's list. I'll see you soon.